have worked out a system whereby it is designed to reduce the uncertainty and the unpredictability of supply. So the central bank would be intervening on a more timely, proactive basis. That is meant to essentially assure that there's a reliability of supply for all demand that is based on legitimate needs. So going forward, even through the travel season, which is quite hectic, and even into July when school closes and folks travel more than normal, we expect that all demand will be met both on a cash and non-cash basis. We'll be sharing Q information or unmet demand with the central bank. I think this further agreement for timely proactive interventions sort of was the last piece of the puzzle to complete overall model for sustained supply and predictable supply, so that banks through their 127 branches could meet demand in the street, trader, entrepreneur, large companies in a very sustained and satisfying way.
And we talked about very productive and at the banking level, but certainly at the public bank in particular, we have gotten the assurances that the foreign exchange will be available for the public bank to be able to provide the legitimate needs of our clientele. So that was quite assuring for us, and I think as the system itself will see a difference going forward. We got the assurances that the foreign exchange will not just be available in the country, but will be available to the system for us to be able to then on-sell it to our customers. And I'm glad that once the central bank, is working together with the financial system, which we have always been doing, but I think in the past, the impression outside there has been that there has been some kind of a war between the central bank and the financial system, and the financial system was hoarding or what have you. That was never the case. I think it was always an uncertainty, a confidence game. As we go forward, once that maintains, we probably will have other blips. Okay? But working together and all in the interest of the country, it must work itself out.
It's because there's a large degree of certainty as to the flows coming back into the system. There's always been the conversation about whether or not there's enough. And it's always been known that there's more than enough foreign currency in the system. But this certainly confirms the regularity and the pitch at which, the rate at which foreign currency will be flowing back, and it gives the confidence to clients. We always said that it was a collaborative process. They are the market makers and the market suppliers. And of course, the reality is that you have to meet the needs of the market at the time that it is needed. It was also said a lot that there was a timing issue. So, and again, at least now we know that when needs are there, they will be met, because we have a sense of absolute confirmation that the needs will be met at the time that it's requested.
Trinidad does not have a problem with foreign exchange. We have enough on a global basis. We've had some issues working through the distribution, which we're resolving. The central bank has been working with the commercial banks. And from today, we expect that we'll be able to meet most of the demands from both the corporate and commercial and retail sectors. It's never going to be you walk into the bank for $5 million US and be able to get it. We are going to meet the demands that are normal from our corporate clients. I get calls from our corporate managers to meet the demands from their clients. I get calls from branches. We do not expect any difficulty in meeting the legitimate demands for our retail customers, for travel, for education expenses, and certainly don't expect any difficulty in meeting normal demands for our commercial and corporate customers. So we expect things to be very settled going forward. But based on what we're seeing now, we're seeing stability, okay, and ready access to legitimate demands for US dollars. So we don't anticipate problems. It's just about getting the dollars to the people who need it when they need it. All right? And that's what the banking community and the central bank have been working together over the last few weeks to achieve. We have no issues with the amount of dollars. So people do not need to hoard. They do not need to pre-buy. They do not need to over-order. Okay? The money will be there when they need it. We saw some fluctuation with the rate when we had the issues with the distribution. And it did, I'm aware it encouraged people to actually conduct transactions outside of the banking system. And people were buying it at extraordinary rates. The dollar exchange rate is very stable. I do not see any issues going forward that would cause the exchange rate to slip. So from a perspective of protecting oneself, hedging against movements in the exchange rate, I don't anticipate anyone needing to do that, certainly in the short term. I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen in 10 years' time, but for the what I'm seeing now in terms of Trinidad's position, our reserve position is excellent. There is absolutely no need to hedge your dollar position. I don't expect the exchange rate to move against us.
On foreign exchange, I mean, for us in the system, we try to create confidence. We try to remind people that it works and it can work. Once, and sometimes with reports and comments and what may be out there and how people interpret it, because there's a lot of information out there, it's how people interpret the information. That information translates to sometimes the confidence not being there, you know. And once that's shaken, you know, that we're in a financial system. It's run on confidence. It's a collaborative effort. You know, we have to work together as banks, and we work with the central bank as well to make sure that everything is in balance.
And I felt, is this for real? But I think having sat here and now understood that there is going to be a level of predictability that will give our members certainty when they go to the bank that funds will continue to flow. The governor, I think, has worked out a system where the injections will come beforehand, so we will not see tightness and then injections coming in beforehand.
We've been meeting all along, but finally I think we've gotten to a point where the banking system, the central bank system, as well as the users are all on one page now and moving forward. For mainly one reason, the predictability of inflows, predictability of forecasting inflows is a critical thing, making sure there's never any shortages in the system, but the system is flush and full of cash from beforehand.
Well, one thing, I gained the confidence back from central bank on the statement of the governor, where the system never changed, but there was some sort of issues from the Bankers Association was made it abundantly clear today. And the uncertainty of where the money comes from has now been removed. There's a flow of money, and that was endorsed by Mr. Larry Nat, that there is no reason why anyone should come into any bank and do not receive his full required amount of foreign exchange.
The supply into the system is much better now than it was before, and therefore from now on we'll be getting the supplies much faster and even at a better rate than we were getting within recent times.